We go. Drag racing a Marshall car. You can hear the mat pump. Today we're going out in a red car. No, not the Yaris. Next time. We already have the setup camera out because we're actually, for today's video, we're taking Billy's Golf R out for a lap, for a fancy lap. Traditionally wise, we already did a lap to make sure that we could do a lap before the track gets closed or something. So now we're shooting the intro, and I'm gonna say it's probably one of the best modified cars that I drove when it comes to engine, because usually we see lots of guys doing a bit of chip tuning and then the rat's already like overheated by before the half of the lap. This car, however, has 550 horsepower on the engine or the wheels. I guess the engine. Yeah, somewhere. Yeah. Okay, good. Well,
607.
Yeah.
It's toned down to 550.
All right. So it's even capable of more, and it's good. And it survived till the very end. So we didn't have any power loss whatsoever. So because thankfully it's also, of course, running an oil cooler, and towards the end of the lap, it was running 130 degrees. But Billy said that we can actually even run below 140. Then it's
145 is the max.
145 is the max, and you have obviously performance oil in it. Yes. Which oil are you running?
I believe it's the Miller's.
Yeah. It's also on Cup 2s. Very convenient with this type of power, and because with great power comes great responsibility. RS3 brake calipers on the front. Are those also RS3 discs or something else?
No, they're upgraded RS3 discs. They're actually bigger.
It was very good. RS7, you said calipers on the rear, right?
Yeah, RS6 or 7 on the back.
6 or 7 on the back, also bigger discs. Very good. And to be honest, this was actually for me, I would say, the driver excuse. The lap could have been a lot faster if I would be completely confident with the brakes. I was confident with the brakes, but that's for me always like babying them, making sure that we don't run out of them. And with these things, you could brake really a lot later. But it's something I don't really want to try in TF, because you always want to have safe braking distance. And when it comes to speed, that baby had enough of it. The only thing I want to mention, you have some sort of a coating foil on the front window, so that might it might look a bit dark on the camera. It's not my fault. Sorry guys, you can blame him. Follow him on Instagram, give him all the hate for ruining the video. All the other feedback you can see in the lap itself. It's running KW V3, right? That was a bit on the soft side for the setup and for the weight of the car, so that's the only thing. The gearbox has an interesting feature, or at least a failure that you found out, that it's going actually in a limp mode, and then you need to switch it off and on. But luckily, before I commenced with the lap, you told me about it. You guys enjoyed the lap, and I'm gonna hop in the Yaris and see you later in the year at some point, maybe with some different shocks, and we can go again. Yeah, good. Thank you so much for the experience. See ya. Let's see, 550 horsepower. If it's gonna hold up. Did it turn up the traction control? No. Yeah, no, we should be good on Cup 2s, definitely. Okay, off we go. Are good. That's good. The boost kicks in above 4,000, so really need to work on that. There we go. Quite neutral handling, not too understeery for being an all-wheel drive platform, but the tires definitely help us with that. Can we take the curb? Yeah, we can. Yes. Yeah, that's good. 4,000, are we? Yeah, let's go. So now we found out where the red line is, 7,000. not the most pleasant feeling. Need to check if there's no one behind us, because sometimes you get carried away because you think you're fast, but there's always someone faster than you. But currently there is actually no one behind us, so that's good. Wild. Not gonna take it flat. It's not completely custom to the car yet to go completely flat through the bottom foxhole. The brakes still perform nicely, that's good, but we'll see how they are by bright sides. I'm happy that it has cup 2s, because PS4s would be not too good for this kind of setup. It really needs all the grip you can get, and it's also good that we're having a dry day today. The turn is nice. Now especially the tires get more up to temperature. Really good. Maybe a bit smaller diameter wheels to have a bit more sidewall, to have slightly more feeling through it, but even now I've had significantly worse. So that's, first half of the lap was good. But the main question is going to be whether the car is going to be okay after the climb of Kesselchen. We'll find out in about 2 minutes, I would say. Smoothly through here. Is there no one? Alright. Scrape. Alright. Oil temp keeping at 120-ish. Kinda okay. That's something that I was warned for, that the gearbox goes in the lockup. So we need to start on and off. Come on. And we're good again. Since we restarted the engine, we need now to switch out the traction control. Well, having raced the Cupra myself, I know that these engines can handle it because it doesn't like spike up above 130, and I assume, I know assumption is not good, but I assume that it has also quite a good performance oil in it with all the mods attached to it, and now the temperature is dropping very nicely, so the oil cooler is doing its job. So, the verdict, it's not the first Golf R that I drove. You probably heard it in the intro already by now because I still need to shoot the intro. But the other one was like 350, maybe allegedly 400 horsepower, and was overheating already by 1/3 of the lap. And this one kept actually everything very nicely in terms of power delivery. Like, I didn't notice any performance drop, any significant performance drop. It did it nicely. Brakes held up well as well, so thank God for modifying. What is this? Stop! That's annoying. The brakes did their job also nicely. The only thing I would suggest changing, if you would be tracking, suspension. Suspension is the weakest link of this car at this point. It's rubbing, it's not completely stable, at least not for this track. Maybe on GP track is different, but assuming this is probably a daily as well. It's a Parktronic. Shut up. Here we go. Parking system. Yeah, and have a look what the hell is happening with the gearbox, because luckily this was kind of okay section to happen in Bergwerk. You just go on the brakes and kind of like, okay, we're fine. But if that would have happened, for example, in Schwedenkreuz, when you need to keep the car on the load, to be on throttle, to let not the car get too light, so it then gets unsettled, imagine you're gonna have a lift-off oversteer then, because that's essentially what happens. You just have no propulsion anymore. It's basically an automatic lift-off oversteer, and then we would have a different conversation now probably, because you cannot steer with throttle anymore. You cannot steer at all, and then you're just like flying into the barriers. So that's quite a tricky thing. But for the rest, yeah, I was expecting worse. Let's call it that way. I was really thinking like, yeah, right, by a quarter of a lap or 1/3 of the lap, we're gonna have reduced power mode, or oil temperature being like 130 maybe already by, I don't know, after Vauxhall or Metzgersfeld. But this, it kind of held up the climb nicely even. It's only towards the end, actually, when I stopped driving fast, so it would get like less cooling wind, it would get warmer. Someone's getting educated there. Yeah, so overall, not bad. Hope you guys enjoyed probably the first Golf R on my channel. I don't remember publishing another one. Like I said, I drove one last year. I did not make a video about it, which I am also kind of sad about. But yeah, for the rest, nice. Like, seems to be a good platform. But we all know already these engines and these platforms, so I already know how they work. And most importantly, yeah, I like that it was quite neutral steering. It was not as understeery as other cars, so good. Overall good, with a couple of tweaks. So gearbox, suspension, done. For the rest, it's held up nicely. Good job whoever built it, like the engine wise. It's holding up good. It's not one of those fake tunes like, here you have X amount of hundreds of horsepower, and then we drive it and it's like, oh, it's stock or even worse. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in tomorrow's video. Bye.